ones who will experience this. Number 4, another statement of the scholars is that they are the innovators. The people who worshipped Allah in a way in which He didn't legislate. Whether that was related to their beliefs or to their actual what? Practices of religion. Another statement, they are those who apostated in general. Whether after the Prophet's death immediately or throughout the centuries. And the last one, they are those sinful Muslims who turned their backs on righteous action and exchanged good deeds for evil deeds. Okay, so 6 opinions from the scholars. So now, after those believers who are allowed to drink, at that point what happens? Muhasabat al-mu'minin. Muhasabat al-mu'minin. That these suhuf, these scrolls of deeds will be what? They'll be rolled out. And books, the books of believers will be what? Handed out. And some people will take their book in their right hand. And others will take their book in what? Their left hand. And some people even take their book behind their back. And it's said the reason why they'll take their book behind their back is because this hand will be tied to their neck. And this hand will be tied behind their back. So they have no choice except to do what? To take their book from behind their back. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, talking about this, He says, فَمَنْ ثَقُلَتْ مَوَازِينُهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ وَمَنْ خَفَّتْ مَوَازِينُهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ خَسِرُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ فِي جَهَنَّمَ خَالِدُونَ. And those whose scales of good deeds are heavy, these they are the successful. And those whose scales of good deeds are light, they are those who will lose their own selves. In the hell they will abide. So these scrolls will be handed out, these books will be handed out, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, or Allah says about this, وَكُلُّ إِنسَانٍ أَلْزَمْنَاهُ طَائِرُهُ فِي عُنُقِهِ وَيُحْشَرُ لَهُ وَنُخْرِجُ لَهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ كِتَابًا يَلْقَاهُ مَنْشُورًا اقْرَأْ كِتَابَكَ كَفَى بِنَفْسِكَ الْيَوْمَ عَلَيْكَ حَسِيبًا. And we have fastened every man's deeds to his neck. And on the day of resurrection we shall bring forth for him a book, which he will find wide open. It will be said to him, read your book. You are sufficient as a reckoner against yourself on this day. Go ahead, you read. This is what you did, right? These are your deeds. And you judge. Where should you be? Where should you go? After this, after the reading of the book and the account, then there'll be what? A bridge over the hellfire. And after being judged and accounted, the believers were made to do what? To cross this bridge. And the believers will cross this bridge in different levels of speed. Different levels of speed. Some of them will cross like what? Like the speed of light. Some people will cross like what? Lightning. Some people will cross like a person riding a very fast horse. Some people will cross like a person riding a very, a medium speed camel, I guess. Some people will cross like a person riding a donkey. Some people will cross the way people what? Walk across something. And some people do what? They'll crawl. They'll crawl. They'll crawl. And there'll be what? Hooks on this bridge, which will do what? It will snatch some people and throw them into the hellfire. And this bridge, the description of this bridge is that it is as thin as a hair and as sharp as a sword. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about this bridge, وَإِن مِّنكُمْ إِلَّا وَارِدُهَا كَانَ عَلَى رَبِّكَ حَتْمًا مَقْضِيًّا ثُمَّ نُنَجِّي الَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا وَنَذَرُ الظَّالِمِينَ فِيهَا جِثِيًّا. Allah says, there is not one of you except that he will pass over it. As-sirat, extended over the hellfire. This is with your Lord a decree which must come to pass. Then He will spare those who used to fear Allah and were dutiful to Him. And we shall leave the wrongdoers therein, in the hellfire, humbled to their knees. So this is the reality of what? As-sirat. Those people who pass the sirat will enter paradise. Those people who pass the sirat will enter paradise. But not what? Immediately. There's something what called Al-Qantara. Al-Qantara. Al-Qantara is a space between a sirat and the door to paradise. It's a plane where people will be what? Will be stopped for al-ikhtisas. Al-ikhtisas means what? If one Muslim has wronged his brother Muslim in this world, he will have to do what? And he didn't make amends for it in this world. He'll have to make amends for it where? In the hereafter. By way of what? Deeds. By way of deeds. So whatever wrongdoing he did to his brother Muslim, he'll have to what? Repay it through what? Through his good deeds. And vice versa. Muslims will be required to make amends and basically purify themselves of all the wrong that they did to their brother Muslims in this world or sister Muslims in this world. And once they do this, then they can enter into paradise. But they can only do this with what we call ash-shafa'atu thaniya, the second shafa'ah. And this is the shafa'ah of the Prophet for Ahlul Jannah, for the people of paradise, to enter what? Paradise. So once again the Prophet will have to come and he'll have to seek permission for the people of paradise to enter paradise. And again, this is one of the specific shafa'at, one of the specific intercessions of the Prophet. No other Prophet will intercede this intercession. And once he makes this intercession, the doors of Jannah will be what? Flung open, and the people of paradise will enter therein. And this is the sequence of events on the Day of Judgment. Any questions? Any questions? Go ahead.
Okay, so for these categories of believers that you mentioned, I guess my question is, like, I guess why are they considered believers in the first place if they committed, like major sin? And, like, why weren't they like sent to hellfire during the Hasab or during the general reckoning before everybody was divided up and the believers were taken?
You mean about on the Sirat? You're saying the 6 categories over the Sirat?
Well, when you mentioned the major sins and the hypocrisy and the apostates, that was for drinking from the water, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So why would
no one will reach the hawd except the believers.
Yes. Yeah, so my question is, why are they believers in the first place if they did?
Well, you have to understand. What's your name? Muhammad. You have to understand that sin and disbelief are not synonymous. That because a person commits a major sin, he doesn't become a disbeliever. You understand? Sin and disbelief are not synonymous. We have to be really careful. And this is a mistake that many people make, that if they see a person drinking alcohol, they say he's a kafir. No, it's not. No, it's a difference between sinning and what? Committing disbelief. And we have a principle. Ahlul Sunnah, they have a principle. لا نكفر أحدا من أهل القبلة بذنب ما لم يستحله. We don't declare anyone from the people of Qibla, the Muslims, to be a disbeliever. To be a disbeliever because of a sin he committed, as long as he doesn't do what? He doesn't declare this sin to be lawful. He doesn't legalize it. You understand? So some people, they drink alcohol, and you go to them and you say, brother, drinking alcohol is haram. And he says, I know it's haram. Pray for me. Is he a disbeliever? No, he admits it's haram. He's just what? Sinful. Do you understand, Muhammad? So they're believers. And that's why they didn't get thrown into the fire with who? The disbelievers. Okay? But throughout these different sequence of events, different things will happen to them, as a result of which these things that happen to them may be what? Mukaffirat. They may expiate the sins they committed. For example, when they cross the Sirat, they're snatched by these hooks, but they don't fall in the fire. But the pain, also the anxiety that they experience is also mukaffir. The anxiety they experience throughout the whole stages or sequence of events is also mukaffir. So some people who are sinful, the different stages they go through, and the horrors that they experience, and the pain that they experience and anxiety they experience on the Day of Judgment will expiate their sins, and they'll be allowed to enter into paradise. Although, Muhammad, some believers will have to go to hellfire and be purified. They'll have to be punished for a period of time, and then ultimately taken out and into the paradise. But the good thing is that if a person dies upon Iman, and he dies upon a Tawheed, and he didn't associate any partner with Allah, even if he goes to hellfire, he ultimately would do what? Into paradise. No one who dies upon Iman and Islam and Tawheed will remain in the hellfire forever. Okay? Does that answer your question? Jake. Okay, what I want to do